All right, welcome back for year 2, episode 1 to the Hammer Time podcast. I'm back as your host, Cade, and I am joined as always by my two colleagues here, Jake and Dylan. It has been a long off season, the longest it felt like. We took our usual off season break, and now with college football about 10 weeks, I think, away, we're officially back at it. So we have a lot to get into, not necessarily today. But basically, that just means for us that we have to start recording again before week 0 approaches. So before we get into this today, if you guys liked last year or if you like what we do at all, we'd really appreciate your support in liking our videos on YouTube, subscribing to that channel over there, dropping a comment, letting us know hottest takes or something like that, conference winners, or if you have a specific bet that you want to talk about, and because ours suck, I don't know, you got it. On Spotify, you can do the same thing. Leave us a review. Like us, leave us a review on there as well as Apple. Shocker, you can do the same thing there. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So follow us, leave us a review. It helps us reach more of audience members like your guys's. And yeah, we'll get into that. So also, we're on social media. We have a X page. We have TikTok page. All of the clips that you see that are going not viral yet, but it's fine. It's not like we called Indiana and Louisville upsets last year out the wazoo, and we were super excited to post those. And then, so I haven't spent like 40 minutes on a Georgia Tech edit that didn't do anything. So it's fine. That's why we do it. So you can follow us there. We're on X. We're on TikTok. Links to those are going to be in the description. And you can also join the Discord. We have about 300 plus members in there, always talking year round. So like I said, all those links are down below. So today's episode kicks off our season. Conference previews start next week. We'll get into group of fives, power four, all that jazz, futures, like anything and everything that you guys will need before the season starts. We will have that next week, on and on and on progressing. So we're releasing twice a week. This one's today. It's just for the one time for this week, just to kind of get us started, and then we'll kind of start our routine schedule next week. So taking a step back, looking at the big picture today, we'll talk Heisman's, dark horse teams, contenders, breakout players, portal moves, coaching changes, nitty-gritty stuff that you guys might have missed in the offseason, which I don't doubt that you probably didn't miss it because a lot of it was just big news anyway. So, yeah. Anyways, fellas, how we doing? We're back officially.
Mbappe is crazy, dude. But yeah, we're back. It's college football season. Kind of. We're getting there.
We're talking World Cup and college football.
There we go. That's right.
Hell.
It's great to be back. Probably going to be another part-timer this year, to be completely honest with you guys, with work and kids and family. But when I'm here, I'm going to be here.
Love to hear it. We have a lot of stuff planned for this year, so I'm stoked about that. Mainly just not even in terms of just podcasting in general. This was like a lot of fun last year, and obviously we found enough success to bring it back this year. Not only just because of the success around it, just because it's like an enjoyment at this point now. So it's something that like we want to do and we want to provide to you guys. So like I said, it means a lot for you guys to follow us along, support along the way, leaving reviews and commenting, and the feedback was crazy last year. So we do greatly appreciate that. Anyways, first topic of today is the offseason catch up. So we wrote down like portal moves from coaching changes and all that stuff. And if you guys are new here, it's discussion based. So basically we just kind of ramble on, and then that's pretty much a podcast. Is it not? Isn't that cool? So lots happened in terms of the offseason as far as coaching changes and stuff like that go. As far as favorites go, it was very hard to pick one because I wanted just to be different for one thing, but for two, there's just a lot that happened where you really don't know what's going to happen. Like you really don't. Like you're talking from like Golish to Whittingham to Campbell to Kiffin to group of fives, and like did Silverfield end up staying at Memphis? I know that he was a hot commodity.
He's at Arkansas.
Arkansas, that's right. And then obviously Summerall now's at Florida. So I guess there's tons out there. It's just a lot of these group of 5 guys jumping into the Power 4 world. It's a completely different realm. But notably enough, one of those group of 5 guys is my favorite, but for a good reason, I think. And that is Gulish going to Auburn. I think this is one of my favorite hires of the offseason. I think this program in general, they needed somebody that can modernize that offense. And Gulish has done that exceedingly everywhere that he's been. There's a lot of questions around what he's building here as far as like staff goes mainly. But another question is if the fans actually give him enough time to really do what he can do. Because one of the first things a first-year coach can be is someone who he doesn't know exactly who they want to be. Alex Gulish does, though. That's the only thing. So his offenses, we know how his offenses are. They're fast. They're aggressive. They're built around creating a ton of explosive plays. And we know that he's built high-powered offenses at Tennessee before turning around an abysmal USF program where they were literally 1-11 2 years ago. And then all of a sudden he brings them out of nowhere and they have a crazy offense. And next thing you know, I'm sitting here betting against them every single week last week and I'm losing. So here we are now. And now he's at Auburn, brought his quarterback, brought a couple other guys from USF that are going to be key. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see how he adjusts to these SEC defenses. Obviously, it's going to be a massive, massive test. But it's not going to be the first time that we've seen group of 5 guys beat up on a bunch of Power 4 dudes with Signetti and from JMU. So I'm not going to count him out. I'm not going to say it's going to be a bad year. I'm not going to say it's going to be a great year. But I like the hire a lot, and I do trust him to kind of do something with what he's got, for sure.
That'll be interesting because the SEC has seen Gulish's offense already, which when they saw it, I mean, Tennessee was putting up 50 points on Alabama and beating Florida, and I think they only had 2 losses that year. So the offense was very good in 22. He leaves. You could say that since he's left, that Tennessee's offense has been worse since he left, obviously. So I would say that will be an interesting adjustment, especially when you play Georgia, a team that has had Heupel's number since he came to Tennessee. So I'll be curious to see what kind of like changes he makes to his offense, kind of like how Heupel has done. Will they go more pro style? Will they bring in more tight ends? Will it just be straight up, we're going to cover the whole field, go 4 wide receivers, and we're going to air the ball out, and then we're going to run it when you give us the box? That'll be interesting. I think the biggest thing for him is he's got to get a defense. Just like he to me, he's just Heupel light, where he comes from the same system. So if he gets a defense, we've seen that when an offensive mastermind like that gets a defense, they win games. You look at Tennessee in 23 making the playoff. So that's interesting. I'm going to go away from coaches and talk about a portal edition. And there's a couple that I wanted to talk about. One I'm going to talk about later in a different segment. So I'm going to kick it off with Sam Leavitt going to LSU. Potentially was going to go to Tennessee. Potentially was going to go to, what was the other school?
Kentucky.
Kentucky, that's right. It's a 3-team SEC race. There were other teams involved with it. I mean, gets paid roughly like $5 million to go join Lane Kiffin at LSU. This could be a big portal addition specifically because of how Lane Kiffin runs his offenses. You look at what Sam Leavitt did at Arizona State 2 years ago when he had a very good running game with Cam Scadaboo, a weapon out of the backfield in the passing game as well, and then an elite wide receiver added onto that with Jordan Tyson. Now, Sam Leavitt gets to play with elite athletes. Now, he'll play elite defenses, but he showed promise in 23, and then it fell off in 24. Injuries to himself and his best receiver, and just an overall downgrade at the running back position from a explosive standpoint in both aspects. So now he comes in, he has an offensive mastermind on that side. You get Caden Durham, the running back, who was a very, very electric freshman last year. He's second year in the program. Also, if Leavitt just kind of sticks to football, and leaves everything else alone, gets an off season to prepare, we're not playing intramural basketball, spraining our ankle during the middle of the season, he's probably going to be pretty good. I don't think he's like a first round talent good, but in this type of conference that you're in, you need elite quarterback play, and combine that with what Lane Kiffin did with Trinidad Chambliss last year. You could see that with Sam Leavitt this year.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. I actually had LSU with Kiffin and Leavitt to talk about for this. So just kind of piggybacking, I won't spend a whole lot of time since you basically had the same exact outlook on it as I do. But I honestly think this might be the most fascinating coach/quarterback pairing in college football. Kiffin has consistently gotten the most out of quarterbacks. Like you said, Leavitt, down year last year, but the year before where he really, balled out. We know he can extend plays. We know he can push the ball downfield. We know he can protect the football. LSU has always recruited elite talent, and obviously that has not changed this year. So as long as the offensive line holds up, I think this offense is going to average 40-plus points a game. I think we're going to see a version of 2019 LSU with Burrow with this offense. The question for me is whether this defense is good enough to win the SEC. But when it comes to, Leavitt, as long as he thrives under Kiffin, I think he could go from a good marquee transfer to a legitimate Heisman finalist. So I'm pretty excited to watch this offense this year and see what they do.
God, I don't like how you guys are always on complete opposite sides as me. It's hilarious. Like every time, it literally never fails.
It's weird how we're usually right, too.
It's like too often. You have to go for the clips, dude. It's fun. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding.
If we've learned anything from last year, it's that we all three are not allowed to agree on anything at the same time.
Oh my God, yeah.
This is
2 for 3.
strong.
Just know that. Just know why I picked. Just know why I picked Golish. Yeah.
2 for 3 is fine. All 3 is questionable.
Because if I went with LSU and Kiffin and Leavitt, then LSU is going 6-6 in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. That's the bottom line. That's the max that's happening. So you're welcome, Baton Rouge. Heisman talk. There was a lot of buzz here. Obviously, like I said, there was a ton of these coaching changes and a ton of these portal changes, and there's a lot of new first-year QBs that are in stake now. Nonetheless, the finalists and the favorites and stuff like that didn't really move a whole lot from last year. A lot of it is very expected. Nothing that kind of eye pops, really he's up there or whatever. But from a betting perspective, it's a little bit different because it seems incredibly chalk to take anybody that is within the top 5, I would say right now. So that being said, there's a ton of value left on the board. So as far as Heisman talk goes, I'm listing my finalists as far as who I think is going to be on the stage in New York. So drum roll, because it's not a shock. I have Arch Manning. Not necessarily surprised to anything like that, but I'll get into that in a little bit. Behind him is going to be Dante Moore. Behind him is going to be Gunnar Stockton. And then behind him is going to be CJ Carr. Now, like I said, for all QB list, color me shocked, right? It blows my mind. No, the Heisman case is super easy for Arch. One, because if Texas goes 11-1 or 12-0, going to New York, you can already book the plane ticket probably in November if they're already sitting there, honestly. My concern, the dude is literally becoming a victim of his own name already. And these expectations are, I'd be shocked because last year's expectations were ridiculous for the kid. Last year, I honestly expected that kind of in a way. But this year, it's completely different. Okay, he's got better weapons around him this time. They pretty much returned a decent amount of production as far as weapons go. There's no possible way that he's not in the conversation. Obviously, it's why he's here, and that's why he's I think, is he co-favorite now or something like that? I know he's up there, but anything like short of an elite season feels so disappointing for Texas. Like, not even just for Arch, like just for that team as a whole. And like Dante, on the other hand, is my favorite pick here because of how high I am on Oregon as a whole. But he's the most experienced quarterback in this list. He passed on NFL to come back and pretty much get a championship, as far as I know. I don't know why he would ever do that.
He came back just so Raiola would have somebody to look up to.
Or that. Lanning made him come back for that.
Or that, yeah.
I'll go with that. I'll go with that answer. But on top of Dante coming back, like, Oregon is one of the most complete teams in the country that is coming back as well. I think he's already proven that he can produce at a high level in Lanning's spot. A Heisman case here is also really easy. Oregon, if they win the Big Ten, or if they even make the Big Ten championship, maybe, I think he's going. He's just a quarterback on a legitimate contender. And like, my concern though with him is also similar to Arch, because like, they might not need him to throw for like 400 yards a game. You know what I mean? Like, a balanced roster can very often and seldomly hurt a Heisman campaign, like a lot, because they're not going to need him every week whenever they have guys behind him, obviously, that are doing pretty much, probably more, honestly. CJ Carr, a little bit of a different story. It's hard talking about this as from a college football fan perspective versus a fan, but a lot of people like him. Like, a lot of people like him. And this stupid Manning passing academy stuff is like scaring me, because apparently he was like, blew everybody out of the water. Couldn't tell you because he's just throwing. There's no defense or whatever. Like, I don't even take an account into any of that, by the way. But regardless, I'm treating him as like a sleeper still among these favorites, even though he's listed as high as he is. I like him only because of the schedule. I think, one, Notre Dame is going to win these games, and if they don't, there's going to be a serious problem, and it's going to start with CJ, for one. He's already proven that he can lead this team. We saw that in that second half of that Miami game. A&M, he looked great throughout the year.
Did you guys get a kicker this year?
I hope so. I think we did. Yeah, he's actually from I think he's from Europe. I don't know. I might be wrong. I think we got a European kicker.
Just because they have a kicker doesn't mean they have a kicker.
That's fair as well, but anything is going to be better than last year, if we're being real. Like,
Don't say that.
I could walk out there, and I guarantee you I could have at least done a little bit something. Believe me.
Okay.
It was bad. It was pretty bad. Again, though, like, if Notre Dame is one of those teams that's 12-0, 11-1, they're going to talk about Carr. Heisman case here, like I said, is pretty simple. It's the schedule. That's like, all he has to do is literally put points up on the board. Ta-da. Congratulations. You're in New York. The only thing that's obviously kind of twisted around that is because they have built around the passing game way more than the run game this year, because they didn't really, I don't want to say reload, because they're bringing in a lot of young talent on the running back core, but they brought in really key transfers on the wide receiver room that make me believe that he can win the Heisman, or at least be in a finalist spot of that. It's pretty much the only reason, because they've typically traditionally leaned on that run game. Gunner, slightly different story. Concern there is that, like, Kirby Smart doesn't always ask his quarterback specifically to carry that offense. They run the ball very well. They always have. They have elite defenses. They spread the touches around. I think Gunner is going to be one of those guys that he's going to have to be straight up spectacular in order to separate himself statistically from guys like Arch or Dante, which is very hard to do, to match that kind of number, because that's really not the style of offense that he likes to run generally. Betting dark horse. I liked him last year, and I do like him again this year, and it's Marcel Reed. Favorite value pick across the board that I might play for a smaller size, but if they win 10 or 11 games, then he's responsible for at least 40 of those touchdowns, probably. I don't know. Or in an SEC contention, possibly. I think that he has a chance to be in a finalist spot. as far as well, yeah, I'll pretty much leave it at that, and pretty much let you guys take over for that. But yeah, that is my Heisman finalist list. Like I said, it's really chalk, but I don't know. There's really not a whole lot there.
Don't worry, guys. Mine's not. The lowest I have, I mean, yeah. I guess when you're talking like top 5, the odds are so jumbled up right now of like, I mean, there's 9 guys that are within plus 1,200 and one of them's a receiver. So there's value. It's just
Who might that be?
Crapshoot. I don't know.
Don't worry, I have him on my list to talk about.
I figured.
I don't, so we're good. You look at last year, like, no one thought Mendoza was going to win the Heisman. You look at Travis Hunter 2 years ago, no one thought he would win the Heisman. So you get these guys that come out of nowhere because they have seasons that you're not expecting. So my goal here was to try and get somebody that could go 10-2 or 11-1. I'm going to lead off with a transfer this year who is playing in the ACC, which is Darian Mensah. I think when you look at what Miami has done over the last 2 years, Cam Ward, Carson Beck. Cam Ward's season, I think, arguably deserved a Heisman, but they didn't make the playoff. And Travis Hunter had an unbelievable season. So then you go to last year, they lean on the run game. They lean on the short passing game. They lean on the defense. So Carson Beck doesn't have as big of a season. Cam Ward's legs were more readily available than Carson Beck's was. Darian Mensah is explosive. His arm talent is almost next to none in college football right now. He's very mobile. He sees the field pretty well. He has those F-it throws once or twice a half that just pop off the screen. So I think if you're going to shoot high, Miami has an easy schedule outside of like 2 teams. So I think that's a good shot there. My second guy, Damon Williams. Cade loved him last year. I'm going to circle back around this year. I said you were 1 year too early. I said you were. I think Washington could have a very good year this year. They retained a lot. Yes, they lose Coleman and Boston, but outside of them, they have a decent amount coming back, especially like on the offensive line and stuff. And if Washington's going to be any good, it's going to be because of Damon Williams. And yes, he's shorter. He's not as accurate as you'd like him to be, but he also is a guy that has some F-it throws where you're like, okay, I could see it. So if they cut down on turnovers, I really think both those guys could be in New York. My third guy is my favorite, Trinidad Chambliss. Yeah. I mean, this dude...
I wanted to so bad.
I feel like no one talked about him last year. And it's like, oh yeah, well, he's really good. You know, they made the college football semifinal. I feel like people talked more about like Kawan Lacey or talked about Pete Golding or Lane Kiffin leaving than we talked about Trinidad Chambliss. Trinidad threw for almost 4,000 yards, 22 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 66% completion percentage, ran for another 500 yards and 8 touchdowns. That was while not starting the first 2 or 3 games. So it's not the same offensive system, but if we get any sort of continuity, plus he has an elite running back, plus he's going to have good receivers, it's the SEC. I really like Trinidad this year. And then my fourth, this one's a long shot. He does play for the University of Ohio State, but his name is Bo Jackson.
I love it. I love that.
My reason being, and I was thinking about this because I was trying to pick some of the best guys that I think could be maybe not the first option on their team potentially. And when you look at like how Ohio State has played the last couple of years, it's been really air raid. Like they throw the ball a ton, except for last year where they slowed it down with Hartline, and it was a lot of just like, this is kind of boring. We're going to score 14 points. We're going to just try and hold you to 7. I think Day's got to shift from that, and I think to do that, you have to have a really good running game, and I think Bo Jackson is that guy. I could totally see him having like 1,500 yards and like 17 touchdowns this year, because you don't have like C.J. Donaldson there anymore. You don't have like the necessary like competition that's going to eat into a ton of his carries. And on top of that, you lose Carnell Tate. Yes, they have 5 stars waiting, but like Carnell Tate was a proven wide receiver 1 or 2 on your team. Now it's like, guys can just double Jeremiah Smith. Let's put a corner and a safety on him. Let's make Sayin see zone coverage. Well, guess what? Bo Jackson, 6-yard carry. Bo Jackson, 12-yard carry. So I like Bo Jackson a lot.
I love that so much. It's like somebody that I honestly didn't even think about being an Ohio State fan, which is terrible to say, but like when it comes to the Heisman conversation, you know, typically everybody thinks quarterbacks, and like you said, he's just kind of buried on that roster of the 5 stars that, you know, somebody that is going to be the RB1 in that offense that nobody really thought about. So my list is kind of completely different from everybody, so love that for us. By the way, Cade, CJ Carr is currently the running favorite for Heisman.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. CJ, then Arch. Then
I thought Sayin was up there.
Sayin's currently tied with Jeremiah Smith for 5th. So, speaking of Sayin, I guess I'll start off with him.
It's just going to be an Ohio State list.
I got 2 Ohio State players. But they kind of balance each other out because
on
with
each
Ohio
side of the ball.
No. But with Julian Sayin, I mean, Ohio State reloads as well as anyone in the country. Always surrounded by elite receivers. One of the nation's best coaching staffs, even though I don't always agree with everything they do, and they get a whole lot of hate. You know, they put the money where their mouth is, unfortunately, so they are pretty dang good. This solely hinges on the Buckeyes going 11-1 or 12-0. And as a Buckeye fan, I will put my hand up right now and say this is not happening this year. I do not see them winning 12 games. So it's out there in the world. As a Buckeye fan, this is an unbiased pick. And I know that has to happen for Julian to be in the race. And exactly like you said, Jake, I think the problem for Julian Sayin, or the argument against him, is going to be that Ohio State's going to be so balanced that the numbers aren't going to be eye-popping. So now flipping that to his wide receiver 1, Jeremiah Smith, arguably, I don't know, I'm just going to say he's probably the best player in college football. And I think if anyone's going to break the QB monopoly or monotony, I think it's going to be him. But again, he's going to have to put up 1,700 plus yards, 20-ish touchdowns. Again, want to have one of those historic seasons. I am going to piggyback slightly and just say don't be surprised if you see Brandon Ennis or Chris Henry Jr. do what Carnell Tate did last year, and Jeremiah Smith doesn't have those numbers and he won't be in the conversation. So that's kind of my argument against my Ohio State players. I had to get it out of the way. You're welcome. So my true number 1 is Sam Levitt. I mean, if you didn't hear me talk about it a minute ago, like I said, he's stepping into one of the best situations in America. Kiffin's offense continues to produce elite quarterback numbers, like we've seen with Trinidad Chambliss last year, even though at the end of the year he dipped, but still was in Kiffin's system. LSU has NFL caliber skill talent all over the field. If LSU wins the SEC or earns a top 2 seed for the playoff, I think Levitt's going to be front and center of the Heisman talks, Heisman discussion. And again, I think it's going to be another like 4,000-yard season, 40-plus touchdowns. LSU is going to have to be up there for this to happen. But yeah, I think he's my favorite. I'm going to give you guys some really crazy names, so just hold on to your seats, and I'm not going to go into super crazy detail on it. Lenora Sellers, one of the best. Boring. It's fine. One of the best dual-threat quarterbacks in the country. The problem is he's on South Carolina, so they have to contend in the SEC, which hot take incoming later. So if the Gamecocks win 10-plus games, I think as Sellers will have to have a signature moments against these SEC teams to be in talks with this. And again, it is a brutal SEC schedule for them. So that's just kind of a name that I'll keep an eye on. Another one, this is probably my ultimate dark horse that we haven't talked about yet. The next two are probably my ultimate dark horses. Avery Johnson, Kansas State. I mean, he is probably the most explosive athlete at quarterback in college football. If I had to pick one, if they win the Big 12, I think he's in New York for sure. The dual threat numbers always play well with voters. Again, I think Kansas State needs to finish in the top 10. Nationally, the problem with him, in my opinion, is the exposure, like national exposure. A lot of the games aren't going to be on primetime, big number games, and that could hurt him a little bit. Number 2, Cade Klubnik. Clemson has finally embraced the portal.
He's on the Jets, dude.
What?
He's a Jet.
I think I had that
Too
from
much-
last year.
Too much orange juice.
Too much juice. Oh, well.
Dude, I was like, wait a minute.
Close enough.
I literally had
That's on
that
my
from last
fantasy
year.
team.
Roll up the first
Perfect.
clip from last year. My bad. I was copying and pasting from my notes.
Who's the last one then?
Well, I actually have 2 freshmen.
Okay.
If you want to talk about some freshmen that could be there. 2 names. 1, Keelan Russell. 2, Julian Lewis. With Keelan Russell, he was a Gatorade National Player of the Year, Elite 11 MVP, one of the highest rated quarterbacks in the country coming out of high school. Obviously, he's going to Alabama. Even if he doesn't start week 1, I think if he forces his way onto the field, similar to Trinidad Chambliss last year, he could put up the numbers. And again, realistically, he's probably not winning the Heisman as a freshman. But if he flashes late in the season, or if Alabama just catches fire, he could absolutely steal some votes and become an early favorite for 27. Kind of the same thing with Julian Lewis, again, in a Colorado offense, which has just been question marks for the last couple of seasons. He's expected to be their starter this year. But again, kind of like depending on what he does, depending on the tools he has around him, we could see his name. But again, one of those ones that I'm kind of a year early, maybe next year, I'm kind of looking at his name.
I thought I almost had the same ones. I put in mine. I put Keelan as well as like a freshman to watch kind of thing. Another one that I want to do well, but I know is probably not going to put up anywhere kind of number to even be noticed at all. Right there, I just want him to do well. Is Jared Curtis out of Vanderbilt now? It's going to be a harder path, obviously, because of that team's like pretty much like fall off probably for this year. But if Clark somehow opens him up and just like unlocks of like what he can do, I think year 2 has like a lot in store for them. For him specifically, maybe. I just want to see what he can do mainly because I know that the kid's talented, but at the same time, for once, it's just nice to see like a 5-star quarterback like him not be somewhere like Georgia, like LSU, like any of these big names. Like go to these like smaller school, like going to Vanderbilt, not smaller schools. You know what I mean, though. But like just to see what he can do, like with what he's given. I think to me that's going to be like probably as big as a test as it is for anybody, and not to mention the conference that this kid's going to be playing in year 1, off of such a high year at Vanderbilt from last year. Coming off probably their best season in decades. I don't even know. So, like I said, I'm rooting for him. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. But freshman to watch for me, absolutely, I agree, was Keelan as well.
I have no freshmen. None of them are winning it.
No, not winning it. It's just like, I'm going to be looking.
I don't have any. I don't have anything like that.
I don't think there's that many, though, anyways.
There'll be some fun ones.
That's what I was just saying. Like somebody fun to watch and to kind of look out for a name. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
I'm still thinking Sam
any
Levitt 27-1 right now. I think that's insane value.
yeah, I mean
So
like
the prices are great. It's just
Curtis, Faison Brandon, Keelan Russell,
another one. Yeah, Brandon.
Julian Lewis. You got there are a bunch of young guys that are going to be starting in some key places this year.
We'll get into all the first year starters, I'm sure, in the conference previews because that's going to be telltale of how those go as well. So, like I said, those are going to be coming out next week. But Natty talk. So we broke it up into tiers. So tier one, your tier one is going to be your contenders, and obviously your tier two is going to have a little bit of luck on their side, but they have the core to pretty much make a title game or win. Tier three, is like Indiana, your long shots that are just going to come out of nowhere, kind of thing. So again, pretty self-explanatory. Tier one, I put Ohio State, I put Oregon, I put Texas, and then I put Notre Dame.
Repeat them, please.
I have Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Texas, and Notre Dame in my tier one. These are my. I want to say like legit contenders, but we'll just call it contenders because I don't think anybody outside of a few are probably legit. I should say. My tier two.
Oh,
is a little bit different. Well, actually, yeah, we can all just do tier one first, and then we'll circle back. Yeah, that sounds better.
I have those 5. So Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, Notre Dame. I added 2 more. I have Miami. And I think you have to throw Indiana in here.
Yeah.
So that is my tier 1. So it's 7 teams.
I have 4 because I was trying to do this like realistically. Who currently right this minute, if I had to put money on somebody who I'm looking at, and it always bites me in the butt because all these teams look great on paper, and then they start playing these schedules, and then that's when we really learn the identity of teams. But paper, offseason, returning people, I have Oregon, Texas, Georgia, LSU in my tier 1. I mean, there's not really. I mean, you guys have already said it. I've already talked about LSU, so there's not really much else to say about those teams. Those are the teams that, in my opinion, have the elite talent and have the key players in the right spots to make a run.
Right.
And anything less than like a good run is a failure for those programs, in my opinion, this year.
Like I said, most of the tier ones I feel like are going to be somewhat pretty similar. The tier twos, I think we can provide some sort of explanation as to why, because there's going to be some, this is, I think, where we're going to be somewhat different on. My tier 2, I have LSU as pretty much like 1A. I have Miami as 1B, and then I put Bama, Texas A&M, and then I put Indiana. I think this is a little bit different. Now, by the tier meaning need a few breaks, but you have the core. Obviously, we know that these teams are legitimately talented. Like they have the core of what it takes. Miami's case is pretty easy. Obviously, they have Notre Dame on their schedule, and then they have the ACC championship favorite pretty much on lock. If they win that, they're already in the playoff, obviously, despite the Notre Dame game or not. The Notre Dame game is just there more so probably for Notre Dame's case, if I'm being completely honest. The other side of that is on Alabama's side, which I'm not going to lie, really haven't done as much digging into this Alabama team as much as I have last year, to be honest, yet at least. Obviously, we'll do that before the conference previews, but we have a little bit till that one. Nonetheless, I still have them up there. I put LSU up here mainly just solely on Kiffin. I know the roster. Like, we know who he has and what he can do with what he's given. But we also know what Kiffin does best, and it's like getting way too cute at really, really bad times, and it's just doing really stupid stuff that doesn't call for it whatsoever. Like I said, he's got the resources. He's probably got the most elite roster that he's probably ever been given, I think you can argue. I don't really think that's really the biggest debate out of all of this at this point now, but there's so much on the table for him. Like, if anything, I would probably have to put him like 1B, probably, if anything. A&M, a little bit of a different approach is this one, just because I'm really high on Marcel Reed. I liked him as a quarterback last year, and I think that he has a similar year this year. Other thing is that defense that took a hit as far as the Parkers go. That's another thing that scares me. Obviously, Marcel Reed is just one player on the offensive side of the ball, but as a team perspective, that's when I get a little bit wonky and tilted about it. So I'm a little bit hesitant on them, but like I said, they have the core if they can get a few breaks to do it. And then Indiana, solely put them up there purposely because of the elite coaching that this squad has, but also the reload that they went through was just as impressive after winning a national title, going to get a guy like Nick Marsh, getting Josh Hoover. Like, you have your point A to point B now. Like, there's that right there for you. So, like, pretty much your offense is already right there. I'm going to like that team a lot regardless of what happens this year. So I put them in my tier 2, strictly coming off of the Natty season, but also because of their elite coaching staff.
My tier 2 is a little bit bigger. Basically, I just have this as like, probably wouldn't win a national championship, but are very fringe to in the playoff.
Right.
So my first team is Ole Miss, Kawan Lacey, Trinidad Chambliss. Really don't have to explain much other than that. I have Alabama. When you recruit as well as you do over the past 5 years, and you have a good coach in Kalen DeBoer, and you have a good defensive system, can they run the ball? Is their offensive line better? Like, those are the big questions you ask there. I have A&M as well. I think Marcel Reed has to be superhuman, though, for them to win a national championship, which I don't think he is capable of this year. So they're just a fringe playoff team to me. Texas Tech, I think you have to throw in a conference winner in the Big 12. And so if we're talking last year, win the Big 12, this year, favored to do it again with or without Brendan Sorsby. Going to have an elite defense, should be good enough offensively again, but they're not winning playoff games with the QB play that they'll have. I have Oklahoma. I think if you have an elite side of the ball, you are automatically, to me, a playoff contender. This isn't championship contender to me. That's not this tier. This tier is playoff contender. They did it last year. Their defense is going to be elite. John Machir has changed its throwing motion, so maybe we're going to get some more accurate deep balls and maybe some explosive plays. Can they run the ball? Do they have an offensive line? Michigan, I'm going to throw in here. One of the youngest, best quarterbacks in the country in Bryce Underwood, number 1 quarterback last year. They have a good run game. They have Kyle Whittingham, who is an upgrade at coach. And they've beaten Ohio State 4 of the last 5 years. So I feel like they should be up there. We'll see. They would need more breaks than I would give them credit for. And then my last one is also LSU. You guys have already explained it. Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, my tier 2, I kind of structured this as tier 1 is like the obvious picks. Like, it's Natty or bust for those teams. Tier 2 to me is teams that I could absolutely still see playing for a Natty. Like, wouldn't be surprised if I seen them. I think I have the same as everybody. We've already talked about pretty much all of them. So I have Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Alabama. Exactly. Ohio State, we already talked about a whole lot. They have absolutely the tools everywhere to be elite. My question is the defense still going to be as elite as it was last year? Um, I don't know. Notre Dame, again, pretty, in my opinion, cake schedule. Um, I think anything other than like 12-0, unless Miami is like that good, 11-1, they don't have to be there to play for the Natty. If CJ Carr has the great season like that, everybody is hyping him up to have. And then Alabama, like Jake just said, they crazy elite talent, blue blood SEC school. You just never know who's going to step up, show out, especially at Alabama. So that's kind of my tier 2. Again, wouldn't be surprised if I seen them playing for Natty, but kind of think they're going to need some help from a couple other teams to get there.
Yeah, I figured that we were going to be somewhere around a similar ballpark on our tiers. As far as tier 3 for me is like I don't want to say, obviously these are going to be long shots in the Natty. To me, this tier could make the playoff kind of thing, or I should say could make their conference championship, but like I said, you obviously have to win your conference championship to get in the playoffs. So I guess we could just call them like a lower playoff seeded team kind of thing. Like maybe they might sneak in with a decent solid record. This one, I put Texas Tech, and I don't like the way. See, this is what kind of like tilted me a little bit was they based like the Texas Tech bet all around the Scoresby news. Like if you paid attention to like odds or pricing whatsoever, if you noticed that the odds literally did not change. If they did, maybe it was like by like an additional 50 fractional odds, like a half jump or a half lower, whatever. It didn't move when like it was announced, like at all. I don't think it still has. I mean, as far as I know, it was at even money. I don't know what that is now for them to win the conference. I haven't even put a bet in for that said conference at all, actually, if I'm being completely honest with you. Which I kind of did want to look at before I even went any further, but
It's even.
It is still even. So yeah, that's what, like nothing's changing. Like their defense, we already know. Like they took a hit a little bit, losing guys like Rodriguez, and I believe a couple of others that I can't name. I know they had that D tackle. That was massive loss, obviously, of course, as well. Again, they reloaded exceptionally on that side of the ball. They usually do. I think the last 2 to 3 years, they've actually had really, really, really solid units on that side. So to me, that's worthy enough to put in a tier 3 where they can win their conference, aka get into the playoff. Do I think that they're going to be a top 4 seed? Probably not. That's where I would like to see Will Hammond, see what he can do. Obviously, they hear the name backup, and all of a sudden, they're out. They're out on Texas Tech. Everybody else is like, it's up for grabs now. I'm not saying that they have the conference on lock either. That's just kind of what felt weird about. In tier 2, with that being said, I had BYU. BYU is like another one of those Big 12 teams where I think if they have a exceptional year where they find themselves in the title game, and they're one of those teams where they get a revenge look at Texas Tech where they are more vulnerable than they were last year because they're not going to be as good as they were, they might have a shot. I love the coaching staff that they have there, and I like the way that their offense played ball last year a lot just as well. Schedule, again, if they beat Notre Dame at night at home, they're in a very good spot in the rankings. Again, it's like if that puts them that high, and say, ironically, honestly, haven't even looked at their schedule either because do they play Texas Tech in the regular season? I don't know if they do or not. I didn't look at this. One second. Okay, they do not. They do not play in the regular season. So, like I said, if your only loss, like honestly, genuinely thinking about that, like if your only loss is going to be in your conference title game and you're sitting at 11-1, low seed playoff team. There you go. You have another Big 12 team in there. it's cake. My other long shots that I had, I did have Oklahoma. Similar reasoning to Jake. I'm really high on Mateer. I like the way that he plays. And again, that side of the ball is elite as far as defense goes. The other one was really funny just because of their offense solely. I would love to see Tennessee in contention. Although I don't know if it can happen, I would just like to see that. And depending on, I don't even know who the starting quarterback is. I don't know if it's actually GMAC. I don't know if it's Faison. Honestly, don't care. There's a few other ones in here. I did have Ole Miss. I did have Arkansas. No, I'm just kidding.
He's just checking to make sure we're still awake.
Yeah. No, but yeah, it wasn't really a crazy long tier 3 list, but like I said, they might make noise, hopefully.
My tier 3 list is BYU, which you already hit on, so I'll leave them alone. Bro has fallen off the Washington bandwagon. I don't know what we're doing. I told you it was a year early. Now we're here.
I'm scared.
Washington.
I'm scared to say anything about them. That's why I'm not saying anything.
Well, I'm saying it for you. Washington is in my tier 3. Devon Williams. That's all you need to know. I'm going to throw USC in here just because of Maeva and a potentially explosive offense. Also, they ducked Notre Dame. So that's one less loss on your schedule. The Big Ten schedule that they have is difficult. So you're going to have to get through that. But, I mean, either Lincoln Riley's a playoff contender this year or he's gone. So show me something. I have Utah as well because Utah and BYU play each other in, I want to say, like the third week of November? First week of November. So I think the winner of that game is probably your second. They could both be in, but one of the winner of that game is probably in the Big 12 championship. So I think Utah, with Dampier, a good defense, and some rejuvenation in the program with Morgan Scalley. And then my last one, because I am biased, and I will forever say this team can win a Natty. Go Vols. I'm not giving you any explanation. I'm done now.
Yeah, I mean, my tier 3 list is, I mean, we've hit on pretty much all these teams. So I have Miami, Texas Tech, and Ole Miss. I put my kind of reasoning behind these three is they have tools that if they get in the playoff, they make a run, I can see them winning some games in the playoff. And with luck from the bracket and the seeding, I could absolutely see them making some noise. Because of all the reasons we already talked about. I mean, the only one I don't think we dove too far into was Ole Miss. I think they've proven they can play with anyone. Ole Miss they just beat Georgia last year in the playoff. They lost to Miami. I mean, it's Pete Golding was already there at that time, if I'm not mistaken. So there's already some continuity there. I think the defensive identity stays intact. Much of that infrastructure from last year's playoff run is still in place. We talked about Chambliss. We talked about Lacey. Yeah, I mean, it's just a luxury that I think many contenders don't necessarily have. So nobody's really talking about them. And I think that's that underdog mentality. And, yeah.
Give me Toledo.
Clemson and Cade Klubnik.
Oh. I was going to say Toledo. That's fine, though.
Oh, yeah, Toledo. Just wait till
I literally texted in our group. I said, I'm not picking Toledo this year, so.
Next week. It's okay.
Or the next week.
Or the week after. I'm sorry, that was so funny. All right. So, rapid fire hot takes before we get out of here today.
What about my questions? We're not doing
We're going to do that after.
Oh. We're doing
If
hot
you
takes
want.
and questions.
I thought. I don't care.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. No, works.
I don't know. I just work here. Not really.
What?
All right. I have a good amount actually, so this is really funny. That's why they're hot. It's fine. All right. So 2 Big Ten teams are making the semis this year, and I have at least 2 preseason top 10 teams to fall unranked at some point. Maybe not finish the season unranked, but at some point they get the Florida State treatment. I have a lot of coaches getting fired this year. Amongst those coaches, I have Lincoln Riley, I have Matt Rule, I have Luke Fickell, I have Dave Aranda, and I don't think it's a firing, but I think they part ways, and I think this is Dabo Swinney's last year, as well as Cade Klubnik's.
Yeah.
And
Cade doesn't do anything this year. So
it's because he didn't show up.
I heard he got kicked off the Jets and was coming back. Sorry.
My last, I had other ones that I have. I'm excited to see this one. I kind of hope this works out. But Eric Morris, I hope he makes a little bit of noise and some Big 12 contention later in the year. I think Lane year 1 is a lot underwhelming than what people are expecting it to be. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad year. I just think that it's not going to be what a lot of people expect out of him. And at the end of the season, or by the end of the season, this ends up being the most wide open field as far as race goes for the title, with no overwhelming favorite entering December or / bracket conference season, whatever you want to call it. I think it's a pretty wide open field. And Michigan finishes the year with no scandals.
That is a hot take.
Steamy.
Technically, you already lost that because apparently Dusty May left.
It's already here. Yeah, I've already lost.
So, you know anything about college basketball. I did one per conference, and this is why we don't talk about our stuff before, because I had Dabo being fired / retiring at the end of the year. So I don't have one for that. I'll have to try and think of one while Dylan's talking, because I did not get one while I was trying to do that. But my Big Ten one, I have 2, one of which you already said. But Lincoln Riley's fired, and Penn State makes the Big Ten championship game. Don't win it, but they make it. In the Big 12, Texas Tech does not win the league. They don't even make the conference championship. We turn back into the Big 12 of old because Texas Tech doesn't have a QB, which they do. Will Hammond is good, but he may get hurt again. And then who do you have? And my SEC one, I have a lot of Alabama relatives, so you guys should turn off the podcast right now. Vanderbilt beats Alabama again in Nashville.
Again? That happened?
2 years ago? Dude.
Where were you at?
I'm kidding.
Jared Curtis turns into Diego Pavia.
Ew.
We go again.
Oh.
Not like that, though. Like, he's a good kid, but he's good at football, you know. All right. Cool.
Comes out in grills and ice chain.
His mom's...
You think C.O. Bond's trying to get with his mom?
Jesus.
Oh, Lord. Are you done?
Yes.
Is that your hot takes?
Those are my 3.
All right. Has everybody got their seatbelts on?
Oh, God.
Cade Klubnik comes back. I'm just kidding.
Oh, my God.
SEC only gets 3 teams in the playoffs.
Name the 3 and it'll be even hotter.
LSU, Texas, South Carolina.
And Arkansas.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Hot takes. I mean, not South Carolina. Sorry. Ole Miss.
I hope you meant Georgia.
No, not Georgia.
No?
No.
Okay.
Arkansas.
I think it's just
Arkansas.
It's just too tough for them. That's the hot take. Another SEC hot take: South Carolina finishes ahead of Alabama in the SEC.
They both can go 6-6 for that to happen.
Yep. Never know.
Fair enough.
Ohio State misses the Big Ten championship yet again. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but they are. I think they're pretty sure they're favored to win the conference currently. So,
I hope so. Yes.
I don't know if I want to say this or not. It's pretty hot take.
This is going to be good.
Let me just start here. Boise State isn't the best Group of 5 team this year.
Okay,
I
that's
don't
not
think.
hot.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah.
That's not super
We're
hot.
fine.
Let's just say I
We're
had to
fine.
cool it off for a second.
It's
Get myself all
lukewarm.
worked up
You
again.
have to put some
I
ice
wanna
on
say
it.
this. Yeah. Similar as you guys, I have a quote-unquote top 15 coach getting fired before Thanksgiving. So, I mean, if you want to consider, I mean, is this a top 15 like actual coach, top 15 team? Don't know. I don't think it's going to be a top 15 team, obviously, but you could make an argument for a top 15 coach, Lincoln Riley being a top 15 coach.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I meant by that.
Same page.
I already
Yeah.
said that.
I know. That's what I said. You already said it. That's what I said. You both have already said names. These names.
I thought we were on the hot one. Where'd the hot one go?
You ready?
You put a lot of ice in it, dude. You had to.
Louisville gets in over Miami.
Okay.
I like what
I
I'm
bet him to win
hearing.
the ACC.
That makes
so
me happy. That makes me happy.
I bet him to win the ACC.
No, he
Spoiler
bet
alert.
Miami. He bet Miami to win the ACC, but he has Louisville getting in over him.
And
I'm kidding. No.
me? I
I'm
haven't bet with
kidding.
you.
I have Louisville.
I have Cade Klubnik Heisman.
I'm good for one. I'm good for one every year. It's fine.
I thought of one whenever you're done as well.
Oh, your ACC.
Go ahead,
one.
because I'm not going to say that.
No.
I don't really think it happens.
No, it's an SEC one. Did you say Beamer ball gets canned?
I said that he's on a hot seat.
Okay, Beamer's gone. I
Yeah.
promise. Beamer's out. That's not even a hot take, dude. That should
No.
be minus like 500.
That probably should have been done last year, anyways. Okay, wait.
Bill Belichick wins the ACC. All right.
Most likely coach to get fired, if there's an odds board, like honestly,
Shane Beamer.
is it?
Yes.
I don't-
It's him or Aranda. I mean, Fickle's on a hot seat, but I don't think it's that hot.
No,
Same
no,
with
no, no.
Rule. I don't think Rule's hot at all, actually.
But where do we put Venables or somebody?
He just made the playoff. He's fine.
No, I don't know, dude.
They would have to go 4-8.
I think it's on like the Verge thing, but like
You put Norvell there?
not yet. I still don't
They
want to.
can't fire him.
I still don't want to yet.
If they're not going to pay the money now, they're just going to wait. I think they have 3 more years.
As much as I would like to, I don't know. I don't know. Like we already went through all the coaching. We already went through the coaching carousel last year. I don't think there's like
Yeah, why are we
honestly
talking
that
about
many.
coaching?
It was just funny. I don't know. Fine, dude. Ask your dumb questions.
All right, cool. You want me to go first?
I'm sorry. That was mean. It's
You're always
okay.
so rude to me. Okay, fine. I guess I'll go first. Let's switch it up at the end. Oh, God. My ACC question is Darian Mensah, the quarterback that could take Miami's offense to the next level, a la like I was talking about earlier with this Heisman. Is there an added benefit to his legs? Are there throws that he can make that Carson Beck can't? Is there an advanced level of like play calling? I felt like with Beck it was run, play action deep shot, run, Malachi Tony screen pass, run, Malachi Tony over the middle. So, is there different variations to things that we'll see? Is there more play action? Is there more zone read, like stuff like that? Big Ten, is this another year of your Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana teams that go 11-1 or undefeated and just beat each other? Or is this a year where we see Washington, USC, Nebraska finally upset a team like Ohio State or Oregon? Because over the last, I think it's 5 years, those top 4 teams I named are like 37-1 or something like that. I think the last loss was like I can't remember what it was. Ohio State versus Purdue or something like it was something like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's one
a
it was.
long time ago.
It was at Purdue, the hospital
Yeah.
kid game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally like people know what I'm
Yes.
talking about when I say that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we top heavy again where we're saying we're the best conference in America, but we're not because we only have 3 good teams and everyone else goes 6-6. We'll get into that later, but Big 12, which team threatens Texas Tech the most? If we're going to assume that Texas Tech is roughly on par to what they were last year, what team does it? Is it just Utah or BYU? Is it TCU?
Cougs.
Is it the Cougs? Is it Cincinnati? Is it Arizona? Yeah, Arizona.
Kansas State.
Kansas State, Iowa State, not Iowa State.
No.
And then my SEC question is about specifically Texas. I haven't talked about Texas on the pod yet. Arch is really good. If you go and watch like the last 6 games of last year, Arch was good. He threw over the middle well. He was reading defenses. The pocket awareness was better. The big question to me on whether or not Texas is ever going to get over the hump of like being a national title contender and not just being a playoff contender is the O-line. If they get what they got 2 years ago when they had Ewers, if they get that O-line, they can win the national championship. But if we get last year's O-line again, they're not going to make the playoffs. So how much better is the Texas O-line this year? Because if it is better and they are like nasty up front, they can beat Georgia. They can beat Oklahoma. They can beat Florida on the road, which they don't do this year, but you get what I'm saying. They have tough contests this year. At Tennessee, I'm pretty sure they play Georgia again. I know they play Oklahoma every year. They play Ohio State week 2, which I think is the big barometer. How good is that offensive line?
I think you'll find the answer to that question in week 1.
Or week 1, yeah. Is it week 1 this year?
Ohio State?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Week
Is
2
it week?
last year.
It was week 1.
I don't know.
Or was it week 1?
Is it what?
Oh, it was
I'm
week.
pretty
It
sure
was week 1. It was week 1.
Last year
I
was
think
week
you're
1.
thinking week 0, then week 1. Maybe that's why you're thinking 2. But
I am.
It was week 1.
my
I
second
remember
one.
I remember Corso's thing. Yeah,
I wasn't asking you.
that's fine, dude.
I was asking him.
I'm just here. You pointed at me still. I'm there on your screen.
I'm pointing at Dylan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have too many questions. Really, I don't really have any questions, to be honest with you,
Donald Trump.
because I haven't got that far.
No questions.
I have questions. Not really.
I'll think of one of my kids going.
I got to think about how I word this because I don't. It's involving DeBoer at Alabama, but I just want to see like what all does he have to do to fully earn this fan base's like trust back with this team. I guess
Winning a natty.
that's what I. Dude, like they have just such high standards. Like it's just
They just won 6 national championships. Of course they
with a completely different coaching staff, though. That's like the thing that's like it blows my mind on how like you can just expect that.
Why do Tennessee fans still think they're national title contenders? I don't know. They won one in '98. It's the same thing. It's SEC fans. They're crazy.
It's
Alabama-
not your buzz for a lot of them.
Until Alabama wins another national championship, or actually, yeah, I think it's just a national or appears in a national championship. Probably. I mean, they weren't even happy making the SEC championship game last year.
I think it's less about him and more about like what a vacancy like at Bama does to the sport as a whole. Because like when Saban left, obviously that was like the start of the avalanche. You know what I mean? Like that was a start of a ton of carousels across the country as far as like other schools and everything like that, and a big cause and effect reaction. So like if I got to again, I got to think of how I word it, because it's not like I don't. Maybe it's not a question for this year. Maybe it's just like a short term, 2 to 3 year down the road kind of deal. Because again, he's not on a seat that's any temperature whatsoever, in my opinion, right now. I don't think, at least. I think it's really on his own thing. I don't think they're letting him go. Point blank. Like that's my thing right now. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Yeah, that's what I mean. So. Another one that I have is involving LSU. If I don't think but can LSU make a college football playoff with a seed that is higher than, I think, what am I looking for? I'm looking for an 8, like higher than an 8 seed, given what they have.
I'm gonna go with that.
And then my last one that I had was that if there was another Indiana that is awaiting college football, and who is the most likely to be that team. Now, I was looking at this before because Indiana's odds to win the national championship, Fernando Mendoza's odds to win the Heisman, out the wazoo, right? Like there's like so many teams out there that are pretty much just kind of listed at that right now.
What were the odds?
I think 200 to 1, if I remember correctly. I think
200.
It might have been 20. I don't know.
I bet it was 20.
I'll say 200. That's
you might need to eliminate a 0 there. Yeah, I think it was 20. Sorry.
Nah, 20 to 1 right now was like Alabama, so I would assume it was more like 75, maybe 70.
Pre-flop.
What was this for? I'm sorry, I totally blanked out.
National championship.
Before the season started.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would assume they would have been in the Auburn, BYU, Utah territory.
100 to 1-ish.
100 to 1 right now is Washington, so I think that would check out.
Oh, I was right. It was 200. It was around 200.
Okay.
It was more closer to. It was more closer to 100 to 1, but it says around ballpark. Most books had it listed around 100 to 200 to 1 odds.
So picking a team,
the most likely team. See, I don't think.
Yeah,
sure.
General?
Or like maybe one that might be showing up in that kind of picture in, let's say, 2 to 3 years, probably. Like they're around the same time that Cignetti's pretty much turned that window or that clock around, kind of deal. Very, very small window. And to me, I don't think it's a team that necessarily wins a championship. I think it's just like an unlikely team that just makes a really, really, really good run and gets a very high seed in the playoff that nobody had on a board. Again. Will that be Washington? I don't. But, like.
I had one team that came to mind, but I don't have any data that backed it up, so.
I have one team.
Why I look at some things. Because I don't want to sound stupid again.
Mine won't be this year.
No, I don't think.
I will take the odds I have right now, and I'll use them for next year as like a. Because I don't think their season this year will make the odds change enough. We talked about him earlier. I'm going Vandy. You give me a 5-star quarterback. You give me an elite defensive coach. You give me a fan base and an NIL fund that continues to grow like almost every day. You have a very elite general manager in, I think it's Barton Simmons, who's the former like recruiting national something at like 247 or something. I'll have to look that up. But he was an old, used to work in football, has now moved to their general manager role. Like they are, you guys don't see it like as the way I do because I live here. Like
I'm sure it's very I'm sure it's definitely different. Yeah.
And even like 6 years ago, when you look at like Vandy's a joke, They have all 3 stars on their team, 2 stars. The kids that are going there are like not even from in-state. They are having to get kids because of their recruiting regulations. You have to have, like a 33 on your ACT. You have to have this GPA. You have to be going into this type of study. Like that stuff, that's gone. They took it away. So now you can get kids like Jared Curtis, who's in Nashville, in your backyard, who 10 times out of 10 would have gone to Tennessee or Alabama. Now he is going to Vandy. You look at Stowers and, God, who's their running back? Their running back was really good. I can't remember his name right now. But yeah, like they've got dudes on their team now. It's not just a bunch of 2 or 3 stars that are undersized. It was Alexander's. No, Maude Hardy's.
No, Maude Hardy's Mizzou.
Missouri. Okay.
It's like they've got high caliber, like high 3s, low 4s. They've got dudes in the weight room. Like Diego Pavia wasn't just this like do-it-all guy where, yeah, he made awesome plays and like he was hard to tackle. It was really hard to see where he was throwing the ball when he was going to throw it like that. Like he was magical in ways, but Jared Curtis can do the same things. I think it has a lot to do with the coaching staff and the buy-in that they have right now. And it may not translate this year. They may go 7-5 and have a little bit of a fallback. But like, if you're asking me a team that could be completely under the radar, Vandy is the Indiana of the SEC.
Oh yeah.
So,
no doubt.
Just kind of an easy translation.
You can go before
absolutely zero data to back this up because I was trying to look and see, and I don't really trust everything that I have pulled up here currently. But running on the same kind of has never really been there, can easily get there in the SEC is Auburn. I think they are a quarterback away from being a contender in the SEC, personally. So if they got somebody that, quote unquote, put them on the map, then I think they get the buy-in back from all the, they can get more NIL money. They can get all those things, similar to how we're seeing at Vandy right now, similar to how we're seeing at, Indiana, stuff like that. Again, like I said, that's just like literally the first team that came to my mind whenever you said that. The only other team that came to my mind, and this is way more wild, it's probably outside of the 2 to 3 year range.
Please don't say one. Oh God.
What conference are they in?
Big 12.
Oh God.
It's totally...
I swear to God.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
It's not Toledo.
You said Big 12.
It is Big 12.
Why is Toledo in the Big 12? What are we?
No,
We're not.
I thought somebody said Toledo.
I did,
Oh,
but
okay,
then you
I
said
was
Big
like-
12, and then I said, oh no.
Yeah. Go ahead, Cade. I'll let you. I don't want to steal your thunder just in case.
No, I'm on. You already got it. I'm curious.
I have zero data. This is literally just a name that I'm like interested to watch and see over the next couple of years.
All right, guys, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Oklahoma State.
Houston. Oh.
Okay. I was going to say Colorado.
Oklahoma State, I would love to. Honestly,
That's what I'm saying.
I already said that. I already said that earlier.
I know. Gundy being gone, I think it gives them a refresh, and depending on how the season goes in the next couple of years, they could kind of be back in some talks, in my opinion.
No, I love Derek Morris, and I love Mestamaker. I love North Texas last year. Like I said, if they do that, that team, that Oklahoma State team has like the old Big 12 vibe to it. The team that puts up like 50-something points a game. Like they have that vibe to it on that offensive side. So if they can do that, I would love to see that. I went with Houston.
Wow, 56.
Yeah, that's the only problem. Yeah. Old Big 12, that's what it was. Mm-hmm. It's a similar format to Jake. I went with a 5-star quarterback as well, and that's Keyshawn Henderson. And for those of you who don't know about this kid, which I don't know why, But Houston, yes, they signed the number one quarterback in the country. He was the number 4 recruit overall, and he's the number 1 dual threat. Dude is an athlete. He's like 6'3", and he's lengthy, and he's very athletic, and he is the first 5-star signing since like the last 10 years, I think, for Houston or something like that. I like Fritz a lot. I've said this last year a lot. I didn't really care for Wigman, but the team as a whole, like Houston as a whole last year, I enjoyed watching them. I liked betting with them. And I do think the coaching staff has a lot of upbringing to where we can see development for these younger guys that they have brought in kind of get on people's radars within the next couple of years, especially after we get rid of Texas Tech's entire defense next year. So once that happens and once BYU gets rid of theirs, honestly, like Oklahoma State and Houston are probably going to be up there. Because like Utah, depending on how this year goes without Whittingham, who knows what they're going to do. This is like I feel like this is their first year depleted year without like an actual decently loaded defense like we've usually saw from them. Last year, I think we saw their offense was actually very different from what we saw from previous years from them as well. I think that conference as a whole is about to go through a complete whirlwind, like straight up. Top might go to the middle goes to the top, bottom stays where they are. There might be a few in there that might kind of jump up eventually. Like we might see Colorado go up there a little bit with the amount of talent and the resources that they have now. Like I said, we don't know. But I like Houston, but I also like Oklahoma State, so that was really good.
They just give me more of the Indiana vibe, in my opinion.
For sure.
Like I don't know if we see anybody like to be completely honest. I was trying to think. I was going through like ACC and Big Ten and SEC. I don't know if you see anybody come out of those conferences. Like I just
don't think they can beat the big dogs.
No, that's what I was thinking. I was like, will Wisconsin come back? I don't think so. Like I don't really necessarily think I was high on Nebraska last year. I don't think that's ever going to happen. Like I'm just trying to think of the possibilities, and given the best option, I think it does come out of the Big 12, personally.
The only conference I was relatively coming close to, because if he said Vanderbilt, I wasn't going to go to the SEC because if anything, I don't really have anything there. The ACC, you could pick anybody outside of the top 3, and I think you could probably suffice for it. Big Ten might be a little bit different for me. If anything, the most likely next team that I like personally, I like Chestnut and UCLA. I think that is a decent turnaround. I don't think it's going to be eye-popping and oh my god, this team's for real. No, but
their quarterback sucks.
Wait, who is it?
Some random Hawaiian dude.
Why do you hate him so much, dude? Jeez.
Who?
The guy that you're talking about.
I wasn't talking about anybody.
Oh, okay. No, I don't like the team. I haven't looked into them at all. Like I said, that would be like the next man up kind of deal. Just because I like Chestnut and I liked him at JMU.
But do you like his quarterback?
Oh, I love him. I think he's a stud.
Okay, here's a valid question: is JMU the portal for coaches?
No.
The pipeline.
But it's for real. If that happens at UCLA, I agree. I don't think it's happening. But then you got.
I think it's more a Saban thing. I think it's less it was JMU because Signetti was D2 first before he was D2.
He was
then
he was
JMU.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was able to learn from Saban and all those coaches that were under him. I think the biggest thing that you're gonna see if there is an up and coming next team from these conferences, it's somebody that was under a Saban, under
the tree,
under a Signetti, under a Sarkisian, under a DeBoer, potentially. It's these elite coaches, which not throwing all those guys in there, but you see it all the time with when the elite coach is at the school and these coordinators go off, it becomes this tree, obviously, but then that everyone tries to copy it.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what there's no more Sabans, so what's like Kirby?
Yeah.
No one saw Georgia being like this because Georgia hadn't been like this since the 80s. And then they come and do what they have done. So we'll see. I mean, you're always going to miss more than you hit on coaches. So.
Oh, for
How
sure.
do we feel about Heartline? Or we can wait, I guess, for conferences on that. But...
I'm ending the podcast before I talk about Brian Hartline.
All right.
We do have Group of 5.
That was a personal question. So
we do have Group of 5 next week, I will say. So next week it starts the conference preview train that we have planned. I'm not going to sit here and give you guys this obvious schedule, but we'll be doing Group of 5 because Group of 5 is a vast majority of completely different teams. We're not going to go conference by conference. I think we decided on more so doing top teams versus the sneaky teams versus the long shots to make the actual playoff versus impact player kind of deal, or the best playoff implicating games. I know we have a lot of those. My favorite one is the very first week of the season, personally, like I said, which we will get into next week. But yeah, so that's just basically to kick off that. And then from then on, we'll go through Power 4. And again, that'll be twice a week for you guys. Try to do one early in the week and do one later in the week. Like I said, it really just depends on all three of our schedules because we got lives, and this isn't necessarily the number one, I want to say, on priority list, but it's a very cool hobby to have, and we appreciate you guys' support. Obviously, me and Dylan at least are going on year 3 of doing this in December, I believe.
Has it been 3?
Which is insane to think about. Good God.
Is that when we created the Discord?
That is when we created the Discord under a completely different brand, a completely different name, and I was doing this
crazy ideas and graphics there.
I was to put it in perspective, I was doing this from a TV tray. You got and then again we went out and invested a freaking lifetime into this stuff, and now have a desk with all this crazy equipment that is not needed whatsoever. I just am very picky. But and then we added Jake last year, and like I said, last year was even better than year 1. And now this year we're having guests come on. We're going to be doing a lot more content on the side as far as the morning huddle is going to be coming back. We're going to be doing the Friday night / Saturday morning shows. Because I know we weren't able to do every Saturday morning. Like I said, there's so much that's planned that has been in the works that's why we take off this offseason, because we try to basically evolve this into something that is enjoyable for everybody, not just, So yeah, do appreciate you guys. Seriously, it means a lot. But yeah, with that being said, we'll kick this off. Congratulations, confetti on the stream, whatever. We've made it. / preseason of college football is officially here. Now the Hammer Time is recording.
And Cade Klubnik is not in college football this year.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
I'm back up to speed.
There's always one thing.
Part-timer. It's literally always one thing, and it's literally always me.
And we carry it.
And that's what it's going to be this year, I have a feeling. So,
put Uncle as
you're
his
welcome.
title.
Yeah. That's why I'm going to start signing in.
It's okay. Like I said, that's why we're here. It's a good laugh. It's okay. We'll end on that note. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with us again. We'll see you next week for the Group of 5 previews. Peace.